Thank you, Guillaume and Erwan. So now let's talk about acoustic comfort. So I will start with some acoustic concept. First, what you have to know is that sound is a wave, meaning that this is a vibration produced by air pressure vibration. So if you clap it in your hand, there is some air propagation and it comes through your ears. So what is a sound? So in fact, sound, again, is a sound pressure variation of several acoustic waves, and it's expressed in Pascal. So human ear, it's sensitive from 20 micropascal to 200 pascal, so it's very wide. So we introduced decibel, and decibel is an easy-to-use logarithm unit that expresses the level of pressure. So you have here some figures of conversion from Pascal to decibel. The sound pressure level is in fact the pressure variation of several acoustic wave expressed in decibel. And here you have some indication in terms of noise and the sound pressure level. So 0 dB is a threshold of human hearing, and you can see that as an example, 100 dB is a subway station noise level. So now let's talk about another concept in acoustics, which is frequency. So frequency, in fact, determines the pitch of the sound. So you have the low frequency. So here it's an example of 250 Hertz. So you can see that it's very, very low. Then you have the medium frequency and 2000 Hertz, which is very high pitch. Okay, so you can see what is the frequency now, and what you have to know is that the frequency range of human ears is between 20 Hertz to 20 kilohertz, so 20,000 Hertz. Okay, so now we have the sound pressure level. You understand what is the frequency. Then we can go into some other concept, noise versus acoustic comfort. So what is a noise? Noise, in fact, is a noise that you don't want to hear. So if you have some motor noise outside, it's noise. And also if your neighborhood play music very loud, for him it's music, for you it's noise. Now that you have the noise, let's talk about acoustic comfort. In fact, we talk about acoustic comfort when you have a good balance between the sound that you want to hear and the other sound. And in the middle, you have the sound insulation, which is the ability of a building element to block or to reduce the sound transmission. Now let's talk about sound insulation of glazing. So we'll make a focus on glass. First, how we measure the sound insulation of glazing. To measure it, we use an acoustic laboratory, which is composed of two different rooms, the emission room and the reception room. And in the middle, in between the two rooms, you place your sample that you want to test. In the emission room, you have a loudspeaker that can play sound very, very loud in different frequencies. And you have a microphone to measure the sound pressure level inside this room. And in the reception room, you measure the sound pressure level. And by doing the difference, you get the sound insulation of the glazing, which is the ability of the glazing to reduce sound for different frequencies. So here you have the sound insulation in dB, and here you have the frequency. And now let's talk about the sound insulation of the glazing, so the results of the measurement we perform in the laboratory. So here again you have the low pitch, and here the high pitch. For a single glass, you get this kind of curve, and you can see that the sound insulation of the glazing is not the same for all the frequencies because of different phenomena. I will not go into deep analysis of this phenomena, but you have some different phenomena at different frequencies. What you have to keep in mind is that here at mid frequencies, there is what we call the mass law, meaning that the thicker the glass, the heavier the glass, the better the acoustic insulation. So now, how can we communicate on the acoustics? So you can see that we get complex figures with different acoustic insulation at different frequencies. And if we want to communicate on this, in fact, it's very complex. So that's why we introduce some acoustic index that are called RW, RA, and RATR. The RW is, let's say, the uniform index corresponding to the acoustic insulation in all the frequencies. The RA focus on the high frequency and the RATR focus on the low frequency, the TR meaning traffic, so traffic noise, low frequency. So now that we have this index, we introduce two other terms, which are called CCTR. And finally, you have got the acoustic insulation, which is expressed with this value RWCCTR, again, in decibel. So now, how can we improve the acoustic insulation of glazing? So the first idea would be to use, let's say, a double glazing unit. In fact, it's not such a good idea. It's a good idea for the high frequency because you can see that the acoustic insulation in high frequency is very good. But in low frequency, you see that the double glazing unit, in fact, is worse than a single glazing unit. Why? Because there is what we call a spring mass effect that occurs in low frequency. Another idea to improve the acoustic insulation of insulated glazing unit will be to improve the glass thickness, as I mentioned just before, or to use double and asymmetric glass panes with different thicknesses. Sorry. Or last option will be to use an acoustic PVB. So you know that in between two glass, you can use a PVB to improve the mechanical resistance of the glass. Another idea will be to use an acoustic PVB that improves the acoustic insulation in the high frequency. So if I come back to the use cases that Erwan just explained before, here are two different examples. So in the village of Chimélin, we can propose a good DGU or a premium DGU, and with a RATR superior to 30 decibels, so you can use asymmetric glazing. And in Les Grands Ateliers, so here you can see that this is close to highway, so the noise is very high. We advise to use double glazing unit with an RATR superior to 35 decibels. Thank you.